Hello everyone, welcome back to ESCXTRA. Today we are going to have an interview with Christian Ingebrigtsen, who is going to perform in the final of Melodi Grand Prix of this year's edition. Hi Christian, how are you doing?
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Thank you so much for taking the time to have an interview with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's our pleasure. So just to start, could you please just introduce yourself very briefly and give us one fun fact about yourself?
Okay, well, I'm Christian Ingebrigtsen, like you said, and I'm competing with the song Wonder of the World. And fun fact, I guess, I've been in a boy band for almost 25 years now, called A1, that some of you might remember.
Yes, so much time. Oh wow. Yes, it's a really fun fact. I should admit. Okay, who or what did inspire you to start your music career?
Well, I'm a third generation musician. So
wow.
My dad is a singer, and he was one of the biggest pop singers in Norway during the 70s, actually. And so I grew up being on tour with him from the age of 3. I was in the band bus, and I got to, whenever he was on stage, I would sit behind the drum kit and look out on stage and see him perform and look at the audience. Of course, the dream was born then. I wanted to be like my dad, and I want to be a performer. Now, he had other plans. He didn't want me to be a pop singer because he'd kind of seen the dark side of the metal, I guess, of pop industry. So he wanted me to be like his dad, my grandfather, who was a violinist for the Chicago Symphony Orchestra back in the 20s and 30s. And so I started playing the violin when I was 5 or 6 years old. And then after a few years, I was allowed to change to piano. But I remember quite early, beside the fact my dad was a big inspiration, I was listening to Bruce Springsteen and Elton John. And quite early on, I think around the age of 7, I was listening to Elton John in particular, and asking questions like, where do the melodies come from? And to me, in my mind, it was like, anyone can write lyrics because everyone can talk and write, but the melodies, where do they come from? Now it's, I think, opposite, like melodies just come. It's very easy for me, but lyrics I have to work really hard on. But that led me into, in 1985, when I was 8 years old, I was allowed to watch the Eurovision final all the way to the end for the first time, because I could stay up longer. And Norway won it that year with Bobby Socks and Let It Swing. And to me, in my little mind, started looking out for the melodies, and I'd already started writing little melodies on the piano, and just random orders of notes on the piano, I guess. Look, Mom, I've written a melody. I was inspired by Rolf Løvland, who had written the winning song for Norway that year. And then a few years later, he won it again with Secret Garden, and then he's written great songs like You Raise Me Up and songs like that. So he was a big inspiration for me as well.
Oh wow, this is actually such an impressive story, like from beginning to the end. I mean, having a family, like a musical family, like that music flows from generations, like literally, that's really impressive. And so much, like, it's so many good examples actually. Oh, really love this. Okay, thank you. So let's move on to your Melodi Grand Prix actual participations. Okay, so just very easy one. What motivated you to take part in Melodi Grand Prix this year?
Okay, so I've participated quite a few times as a songwriter and producer. So I've had quite a few different artists. Well, I was part of it as A1, the band, in 2010. We were sort of persuaded by Universal Records, we were signed to at the time, to enter the competition, and we were the runners-up behind Didrik Solitangen, who won for Norway that year. But it was a great experience, and we had a lot of fun with it, and we did so many concerts after that anyway. So that was kind of an example of how the Eurovision today and MGP, even if you don't win it, it's just a great platform to show off your new music and get introduced to a larger audience. But recently I've had quite a few runners up. I've written 3 runners up for Norway and 1 runner up for Finland. And 2 years ago, I wrote the winning song for Norway with Ulrike, Attention. And so my dream of representing Norway in the Eurovision was finally achieved, but then Eurovision was canceled. So the dream is still alive, and I was kind of persuaded by some people to enter as an artist as well. And I think that the main thing that sort of persuaded me was because it's been a while since I released a solo album, and I already had half an album sort of ready that I was working on as a solo artist, and I wanted to get out this year. And to me, MGP is one of the very few platforms in Norway where you can actually perform your new music on television, because today all the various platforms where you can be on, if you've got a new material you want to promote it, you've got to do something you can't do, like cooking or dancing or singing someone else's songs or in someone else's genre. But with MGP and Eurovision, you get to just do your new music and you can show it off the way you are as an artist. And so to me, it was just a great way of showing off my new single, basically.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of motivation indeed. Yes. And yeah, it seems like a really long dream. You've been going for it for so long. But by the way,
Yeah.
yes, as you mentioned, you actually participate in songwriting of Attention by Ulrike. So just wondering, how were you feeling when you found out that actually the Eurovision was cancelled that year?
I have to be honest, I was so devastated. I was really sad because I dreamed about that since I was a kid, and I was even I had tickets booked for Holland. I was going to go down. I volunteered to sing backing vocals.
Aww.
Just so that I could be backstage and just experience the whole Eurovision adventure. And so when that sort of was taken away, of course I understood it, but I was heartbroken. But then again, I guess that led me to keep writing new songs for the competition. Hopefully this year could be the year. Who knows?
Yes, indeed. Like you never know. Yes. So okay, I see. So let's move on to your actual song now. So where did the idea for the song come from? And so, like you included all these wonders of the world to the lyrics. It was just like very impressive. So where did you get the idea? How was the songwriting process?
So I actually started out with, I was writing songs for my new album, and my regular songwriting partner in Nashville, Michael Hunter Oakes, we've been writing together for over 15 years, and our work as a writing team has taken us around the world. So we've literally been to a lot of the places that I sing about in the song together. And one of the things we were talking about was how, like, you can see all these wonderful places and experience some incredible things, but one of the things that we would talk about together as friends was how we'd love to share those experiences with that someone special, and how experiences are so much greater when we can share them with people we love. And last year I proposed to my girlfriend.
Oh,
and thank you. And she's been telling me how, like, all of my love songs are about love that didn't go too well. A lot of the A1 songs are like that too, like Every Time. Some of my songs that are about love that didn't go too well. And there's a logical explanation behind that, because my old manager used to say to me, like, every time I had my heart broken or a relationship ended, he would say, "Great, now let's hear all the fantastic songs that will come out of that," because it's very emotional, and you come up with all these. It just naturally comes when you don't feel too great about love, and it's harder to write about love that goes well, because you're just so happy, and you're in that, you want to be in that relationship, not sit around writing songs about it. But then I was inspired by my girlfriend saying that, "I wish you had some songs about love that ended well." And so I actually said that to Michael. I really want this song to be a happy song about love, and how no matter where we go around in the world and see the most amazing wonders, there really isn't a greater wonder than to love and being loved in return. And so that's what the song is about. And so we started writing about all the places we've been, and we literally have been to Petra, to the hills of Jericho, in New York together. We've been to, I've been to Italy, seen all the cathedrals many times. And the only place that we haven't been, that I sang about in the song, is Taj Mahal. That's one of those, but to me, that's sort of the, it expresses love. We read about how, that was built, for some love story. And so I thought that's a great way to start. So yeah, that's the story behind the song, really. And then, of course, at the end, we were writing.
Yeah, hopefully you'll still manage to visit Taj Mahal in future. So it would.
Yeah, I hope so. And I also got to include, the third writer as well, Henrik Thaler, because the Wonder of the World wasn't supposed to be the MGP song. I had two other songs that I was writing, and I had entered the competition first with one song, and then I sent another song in saying, I think this might be an even better song, that I had written with Henrik. And of course, Henrik wrote the winning melody for Norway with Kano a few years back, Spirit in the Sky, and produced that. And so when I was writing with Henrik, we were so excited, and I was accepted with that song as well. But I had this feeling about Wonder of the World, and I wanted that song, I guess, more. And I was talking to Henrik about it, and I said, but it doesn't really sound like a Eurovision kind of song, because it was a very classic ballad, pop ballad. And Henrik immediately came up with some great ideas of how to make it fit more into the Eurovision sort of world sonically, and also had some great ideas for when we wrote the the middle eight part and stuff. So Henrik was instrumental in getting the song where it is today. So I feel, even though it's my first time as a solo artist in MGP, I feel like I'm part of a great team, and that kind of feels, it's safer than if I was just on my own.
Oh wow, thank you. That's such a story. like sometimes you just listen to a song and you just like never know like what's the story behind it. You just listen like, oh, great song. But when you know more background, it just makes much more sense. Okay, thank you.
Right.
So okay, moving on. So okay, just one more question about MGP. So you will have your final performance, and before that, of course, you performed before. So do you plan any changes or maybe additions to your final performance, or everything is just good?
I haven't really planned many changes. I know we're going to go through it a few more times this week and see if we can come up with something. But I was very, very happy with the way NRK had filmed it, and the effects they put on it. Like, to me, I wanted to represent the part of the Eurovision that is centered around the song. Because to me, as a songwriter, first and foremost, I love it when the song is at the center. I also love the fact that Eurovision is so diverse, and that there are songs with the glitter and glamour and the the fantastic dresses and the fireworks, and I love that too. But maybe my favorite songs throughout Eurovision is like the Portuguese winner a few years ago, when Secret Garden won it. when my all-time favorite Johnny Logan, "Hold Me Now." It's just a great pop song,
Yes.
like, so I wanted to represent that part of Eurovision so that those who like that can vote for me. And so I wanted to be centered around the songs. I just wanted it to be me and the piano, and then some string players, and then some nice effects around it. So to me, I didn't really want it to be a big elaborate fireworks kind of production around it. So I thought it was pretty spot on in the semis for me, and so I want to just do that and maybe just top it with a few details here and there.
Perfect. Well, actually, yeah. So just like a few details to add, and you're actually good to go. Okay, so as I understood, you're just a huge Eurovision fan from early age. That's very great, great to see. So, what is your favorite Norwegian Eurovision entry?
I've got that question a few times, and like I've already mentioned, Secret Garden, which I think is one of the best melodies, and I, of course, you can't get away from Alexander Rybak with
of course, yes,
Fairy Tale, which is just, everyone knew the moment they heard that song, well, that's going to win, isn't it? It's so special and so great. But I'd also like to mention there's a Norwegian song from, I think, 1988 or something, called For Vår Jord, which I just think is such a beautiful pop song. And it was in Norwegian, and with Caroline Krüger sang it. She wrote it with Anita Skorgan, another legendary Norwegian singer. And so I think those are my favorite songs throughout history.
Perfect. And if we go in general, what's your top 5, let's say, of Eurovision songs? Okay, I see you got Salvador here in this list. Portugal 2017, right? So
yeah,
also,
absolutely.
Johnny Logan, Hold Me Now.
Johnny Logan, yeah.
Yes. Also, what would you add?
Euphoria.
Which
I think is just a fantastic pop song. I think Secret Garden is up there amongst those favorites. And there's so many. I mean, it's really, really hard to pick one. But I think iconically, I think Waterloo deserves to be there. ABBA. It's what an iconic song, and the start of, well, it wasn't really the start, but it became kind of the start of such a huge pop adventure in history, with ABBA. So they need to be included there. So a couple of Swedish ones, huh? Yeah.
Well,
but there are so many more I could have chosen. Yeah.
Why not? Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a very tasteful choice. Really tasteful. Okay, so do you plan to release more music later this year?
Yeah, like I mentioned, Wonder of the World is just supposed to be the first single of my new album. So I already have more than half the album ready. So that will come out this fall, I think. But I have to plan it carefully because everything's sort of been delayed because of the whole pandemic situation. And A1 was supposed to release as a band, the new album as well, 2 years ago, and then last year, but now it's going to be this year. So I'm going to have to talk with the boys about how we do it. But A1 has an album also half done. So there are 2 album projects in the making, which I'm really happy about. And it's going to be a great one as well. And in fact, A1 are going on tour both in the UK and around the world, coming to Sweden this summer. And we're actually doing a gig in Norway in a couple of weeks. So yeah, it's a lot of things going on, a lot of singles coming out, which is, I'm so happy the pandemic is on its way out. It's fading out slowly, and we can get back to touring again because I've missed it.
Very promising year for USC. Yes. Okay, okay, thank you, Christian. Okay, let's move on just to a lower, like, wrapping up question. What would you say to your fans over here who is watching this interview?
Well, I'd just say thank you for watching, and I'd love it if you checked out Wonder of the World, and hopefully it can inspire love in some fashion, I guess, because that's what it's meant to do. It's, you know, take you on a little journey throughout the world, and you know, I've already gotten the message from someone who was inspired to propose with this song, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, that's worth it already, I think.
Really worth it.
If a song that we've written can inspire someone in their lives, in their situation with love somehow, then it's all worth it.
Okay, thank you so much, Christian, for taking your time to talk with us. It was such an interesting talk. I really enjoyed it. And thank you so much to everyone who just watched this interview. I hope you really enjoyed just as I did. Just don't forget to click likes button and also to click the notification bell so you will be up to date with our newest interviews. Thank you so much, Christian, for taking your time. We wish you best of luck at the final performance on Melodi Grand Prix. And
thank you.
Of course, yes. And everyone, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.
Bye.